Welcome one and all to the following segment of enjoyment and an escape from reality. But beware, the show you are about to bear witness to will not hold back when it comes to spoilers, language, and things not appropriate for work or children. If you continue on, we hope that you laugh at the banter, that you are thrilled by the topic of discussion, and marvel at the host's dedication to their craft, because you can only get that type of treatment here at Monster Madness. You have been warned.
The so-called brain stem consists of the midbrain, a rounded protrusion called the pons, and a stalk tapering downwards called the medulla oblongata, which passes out of the skull through the foramen magnum and becomes, of course, the spinal cord. Are there any questions before we proceed?
I have one question, Dr. Frankenstein.
That's Frankenstein.
I beg your pardon?
My name, it's pronounced Frankenstein.
But aren't you the grandson of the famous Dr. Victor Frankenstein, who went into graveyards, dug up freshly buried corpses, and transformed dead components into...
Yes! We all know what he did. But I'd rather be remembered for my own small contributions to science, and not because of my accidental relationship to a famous cuckoo.
Hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of Monster Madness. My name is Erica, and joined with me is my awesome co-host, Matt.
Good evening. I had nothing. I got nothing.
I like the Homer. Homer doing Hitchcock. Good evening.
Good evening. Yep.
Because I know you weren't doing Hitchcock. I know you're doing Homer.
No,
doing
yeah.
Hitchcock.
As I like to call him, Hocock.
Okay.
We'll call you Homer Jr., and the kids can call you Hoju for short.
Jesus Christ. We haven't even started the show yet. Before we jump into this week's show, a few plugs. You can find Monster Madness on all your favorite podcasting platforms, social media sites, and things of that nature. Matt does stream video games and drum sessions from time to time, so you can check that out on our Twitch channel. If you'd like to support this show, you could do so in many different ways, such as Patreon, buying merch, donating to the show, or simply just leaving a review on your favorite podcasting provider. Those 5 stars go a long way, and if you decide to write something, we may read it on the show. All the links for the aforementioned things will be posted in our show notes. Matt, you got anything? Any housekeeping? Anything you want to say to your beloved audience?
Nope. Thanks.
Fuck bitches, get money?
Yeah, I'm not on top of my game. We've done this now successively 2 weeks in a row, just recording, and I have nothing funny to say. We need to take 6-month breaks so I can become funny.
Well, this fucking bodes well. All right.
Yep.
This week on Monster Madness, we cover 1974's Young Frankenstein.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
You're putting me on.
No, it's pronounced Frankenstein.
Do you also say Froderick?
No, Frederick.
Well, why isn't it Froderick Frankenstein?
It isn't. It's Frederick Frankenstein.
I see.
You must be Igor.
No, it's pronounced Igor.
But they told me it was Igor.
Well, they were wrong then, weren't they?
It's Frankenstein.
It's pronounced Frankenstein. You're putting on the Ritz. I love that fucking...
I did not realize how far from the end that was. Like, I thought that was the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah, no, it's like...
It's not. It's very clearly not, but I remember from the last time I saw it, which would have been about a year ago, like, I thought it was closer to the end of the movie. There's a whole lot of shit that happens afterwards.
It's about like 3/4 of the way in, so I wouldn't,
Yeah, there's like a good half an hour of the movie left at that point.
Yeah, no, you're right. So, Young Frankenstein came out on December 15th, 1974 in the US. This movie was actually filmed from February 19th in 74 to May 3rd, 74. That's a pretty quick turnaround. It's like 7 months from start to filming.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah, start to filming the whole thing, editing the whole thing, then distributing the whole thing and releasing it. 7 months in 1974. Color me impressed.
Better than coloring you bad.
Okay.
I'll see myself out.
So Young Frankenstein has a runtime of 1 hour and 46 minutes. The genre is obviously comedy, and it is rated PG. It's directed by Mel Brooks. It was written by Mel as well, along with Gene Wilder, who plays the Dr. Frankenstein, and they give a writing credit to Mary Shelley, because obviously Frankenstein. The production companies are, I find this interesting. I've been looking into production companies more as like I do notes for the show. I haven't done this much for the prior films and stuff like that, but like it's just shit like I've never even heard of. Like Gruskoff and Venture Films, Crossbow Productions, and Jower Limited. I'm like, do these things, I doubt they exist anymore, because I feel like the big like conglomerates of like production companies just absorbed all of them.
No, and I'm sure you're right. Like I made it. I don't think it was while we were recording that I told the story, but I made a joke once, and Alyssa and I were watching an older movie, and there was a credit to, and I can't remember what it's called, but it was the guy who literally like cuts this reels together to make the final film. And I had text that we call it Boy Slack, but it's Kevin Howard, Jack Picone, and then Johnny Pomato, all from New York. And I said, like, I have this great pitch for a movie, and it is literally a guy who spends his entire life going to school to become the world's best film cutter, and then the digital age is upon him, and his whole fucking life is a sham. And I was like, this would be a great, hilarious film. And then Jack's response was, yeah, that was like the life story of my dad's friend. And I was like, I'm sure it happened. He went from like splicing hundreds of movies a year to 3 because it doesn't fucking exist anymore.
Yeah.
But I still feel like we could make that as a dark comedy movie. Sony, get at me.
They can't see you doing, your little.
It doesn't matter. You got it.
Sign.
So
I got
it,
it,
dude.
Fucking stop. It was distributed by 20th Century Fox, something that I recognize. It stars Gene Wilder, Peter Boyle, Marty Feldman, Madeline Kahn, Cloris Leachman, Terry Garr, and a few others. This actually Gene Hackman is in this movie, but he is uncredited. There is not a person out of place in this movie. They all bring something perfect to it. I tried to think of like, oh my God, who's my favorite person in this film? And I literally couldn't put my finger on one, because I'm just like, I love all of them because they're like a perfect mixture. Cloris Leachman, just her very subtle facial expressions and just like the Frau Bucher thing. Like it's so good. I can't even, we'll get into it. But anyway, the taglines for this film are "Come early, get a seat," and "The scariest comedy of all time." Pretty lame ones, unfortunately. I was hoping for better, seeing as it's such a good movie, but whatever. Matt, do you have your trusty inflation calculator out? Are you ready for the budget?
The budget was $2.78 million.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's actually quite a lot. 1974. I like how they now added the months to the inflation calculator. You can really get fucking granular with it. So that equates to $16.4 million. If it were to be made today, box office take home was $86.2 million, which would be right around $510 million right now.
What would you do if you had $510 million?
I would take a direct flight to Pennsylvania, and I would walk up to your front door with $100,000 in cash and just whap.
And I would gracefully accept it.
Yeah, I would then give it to you. I'd be like, that was worth it. Here you go. And then walk away and then just drop ass and be like, deuces. I might do it just because it's now become such like a shtick, a gimmick of the show, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
For me to just walk over to your house and slap you. But I would then give you what I beat you with and then buy you like a nice steak dinner.
Oh, thank you. It's kind of like in that scene in Dumb and Dumber where he's like just tipping everybody. He's like,
here you go. Here you go. Yeah, no, that's fucking like, That is the perfect representation of what you would do if you had fuck you money.
God, the amount of shit I would do with fuck you money.
I have a funny story. It's not quite fuck you money, but it's based on the age and what happened, it would have been considered fuck you money. Okay. So I was dating a girl named Erica. That's the one who clogged the toilet. But she got her student loan overages, which was probably $2,000.
Wait. Did she spell it with a C or a K?
It was a C.
Okay. She does not bring shame to my name. Continue.
So she got her student loan overages, which were probably $2,000 at most. I just remember being like, you want to go get fucking Taco Bell? And we got like $20 worth of Taco Bell and ate like damn ass kings. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that was fuck you money at that point in life. We were just like, we're going to get a bunch of Taco Bell.
You know, it's the little things in life. Though I did text you literally last night about my complete and utter disgust that a fucking cheesy gordita crunch was $6 on the menu at my Taco Bell. What the fuck?
Oh, I can't look up the pricing on. I gotta look in the app to see what it is here.
Then there was a whole thing last night because I didn't feel well. So I was like, I'm not going out. Maybe I'll like DoorDash some fucking trash food to myself because I'm a trash panda. And I was like, Taco Bell, you know what? What the fuck ever. Let's go. I was texting you about food options. I was texting you my shock of prices. I order it. They switch it from delivery to pickup because I'm literally 4 minutes from Taco Bell. So they thought I was going to pick it up. And I was like, no. And then they wouldn't refund me my money after I canceled the order. So then I had to literally argue with DoorDash this morning. I was like, listen, I am not here to argue about a soft shell taco and a cheesy gordita crunch or some nacho fries. But the principle of the matter is I literally canceled the order before it got made. The food did not exist. Actually, it probably already existed because it's a fucking fast food restaurant. I didn't make any adjustments. Nothing was special about this fucking taco. Just give me my goddamn money. And I have to say, Maribel at DoorDash, she gave me my money back.
So the difference here is that you were dealing with DoorDash, not Taco Bell.
Yeah, I know.
Because DoorDash plays middleman to that shit. So before we get too far ahead, a cheesy gordita crunch with the Dorito taco here is $5.39.
Fucking Pennsylvania, man.
It's 20 cents more than if you get the regular one, but if you get the regular one, you're a peasant. You might as well just fucking kill yourself. So,
well, you didn't tell me that last night. You didn't tell me to upgrade it. You told me just cheesy gordita. You didn't say anything. All you said was fries to me because you thought you were being.
Because I was busy. I was playing fucking Diablo last night.
When are you not busy?
Tomorrow for like 2 hours, I think.
Oh, God. Don't you just like want a day where like, well, this is like the time of the year, honestly, that you just fucking, don't you just not work?
I'm not busy. Well, I mean, going back to my old job, it's a little different, but like tomorrow after work, I literally had nothing to do. And then they're like, hey, do you want to do this work tomorrow night? Which is literally me checking a box and clicking apply, and then it reboots the server.
Oh yeah, you're talking.
But still, it's like fucking at 9:30 p.m. Well, yeah, that's all I've really been doing since I've gone back because of what I'm trying to help accomplish. But so tomorrow was supposed to be my day to do nothing, but also like it's not till 9:30, so it's like I still got a whole evening.
Yeah.
Saturday I have nothing.
Oh, nice.
It seems louder over here. Hand me that candle, will you? Put the candle back. All right? I think I have it figured out now. Take out the candle, and I'll block the bookcase with my body.
Now listen to me very carefully. Don't put the candle back. With all of your might, shove against the other side of the bookcase. Is that perfectly clear?
I think so.
Good girl.
right, so the plot of this film starts as, thanks to Wikipedia as per usual, because we're lazy on this show, Dr. Frederick Frankenstein is a lecturing physician at an American medical school and engaged to Elizabeth, a socialite. He becomes exacerbated when anyone brings up the subject of his grandfather, Victor Frankenstein, the infamous mad scientist with whom he does not want to be associated with, and insists that his surname is pronounced Frankenstein. When a solicitor informs him that he has inherited his family's estate in Transylvania after the death of his great-grandfather, the Baron Beaufort von Frankenstein, Frederick travels to Europe to inspect the property. At the Transylvania train station, Frederick is met by a hunchbacked, bug-eyed servant named Igor, whose own grandfather worked for Victor, and a beautiful young female assistant named Inga. Hearing that the professor pronounces his name Frankenstein, Igor insists that his name is pronounced Igor. I always forget if it is Igor or Igor because of this movie, rather than the traditional Igor. Would you want a hunchbacked assistant to help you with all of your stuff?
Does the hunchback garner special powers? Or is the hunchback just like part of the deal?
I mean, you could kind of look at it kind of like Samson. All of his power comes from his hunch.
Samson Simpson?
Not just his hair.
I want to talk to Samson. Fly me to the moon like that bitch Alice Cramden.
Jesus.
Does the hump hinder anything? Like, I don't care that my personal Igor has a hump. I just I want to make sure that he can rake the leaves with the hump. Like, the hump doesn't stop him from that motion.
That could be why he has the hump.
Sounds like he needs to switch hands. Work out the other side.
Maybe he does.
Make that hump.
Maybe it's just,
Make that hump a bump. Get it? Because it'd be a...
I got it. I
gotta go.
Arriving at the estate, Frederick meets Frau Blücher, the intimidating housekeeper. And I just love every time they say her name, a fucking horse sneeze and a thunder claps, no matter where they are in the house, in the castle. After discovering the secret entrance to Victor's laboratory and reading his private journals, he decides to resume his grandfather's experiments in reanimating the dead. Frederick and Igor steal the corpse of a recently executed criminal, and he sets to work experimenting on the large corpse. He sends Igor to steal the brain of the deceased scientist and saint, Hans Delbruck. Startled by his own reflection, Igor drops and ruins Delbruck's brain, taking a second brain labeled abnormal. He returns it, and Frederick transplants it into the corpse, thinking he has transplanted Hans's brain. Frederick brings the creature to life by electrical charges during a lightning storm. It takes its first steps, but frightened by Igor lighting a match, he attacks Frederick and nearly strangles him before he is sedated. Meanwhile, unaware of the creature's existence, the townspeople gather to discuss their unease at Frederick's continuing his grandfather's work. Inspector Kemp, a one-eyed police official with a prosthetic arm, whose German accent is so thick that even his own countrymen cannot understand him, proposes to visit the doctor, whereupon he demands assurance that Frankenstein will not create another monster. Returning to the lab, Frederick discovers Blücher, setting the creature free. She reveals the monster's love of violin music and her own romantic relationship with Frederick's grandfather. The creature is enraged by sparks from a thrown switch and escapes the castle. While roaming the countryside, the monster has encounters with a young girl and a blind hermit, references to the 1931's Frankenstein and 1935's Bride of Frankenstein, respectively. Frederick recaptures the monster and locks himself in a room with him. He calms the monster's homicidal tendencies with flattery and a promise to guide him to success, embracing his heritage as a Frankenstein. At a theater full of illustrious guests, Frederick shows the creature following simple commands. The demonstration continues with Frederick and the monster, both in top hats and tuxedos, performing the musical number, Puttin' on the Ritz. A stage light suddenly explodes and frightens the monster, interrupting the performance. The crowd begins to boo and throw vegetables at the monster, who becomes enraged and charges into the crowd, where he is captured and chained by police. Back in the laboratory, Inga attempts to comfort Frederick, and they have sex on the suspended reanimation table. Doesn't seem comfortable to me, but you know.
This is the first ever noted account of a sex swing.
Nice. Real nice.
I don't know if that's real or not. That's just a thing.
I mean, could be. It really could be.
It could be.
Those seem complicated to me and unstable, but I digress. The monster escapes from prison the same night that Frederick's fiancée Elizabeth arrives unexpectedly for a visit. The monster takes her captive as he flees. Elizabeth falls in love with the creature due to his enormous Schwarzenstocker, while the townspeople hunt for the monster. Frederick plays the violin to lure his creature back to the castle and recaptures him. Just as the Kemp-led mob storms the laboratory, Frankenstein transfers some of his stabilizing intellect to the creature, who reasons with and placates the mob. Kemp then takes the mob member back to his place for a little sponge cake and a little wine. Elizabeth, with her hair styled after that of the female creature from Bride of Frankenstein, marries the now sophisticated monster. While in bed with Frederick, Inga asks what her new husband got in return during the transfer procedure. Frederick growls wordlessly like the monster and embraces Inga, who, as Elizabeth did when abducted by the monster, begins singing the refrain, "Ah, sweet mystery of life. Finn." So yeah, that is the plot of Young Frankenstein. The synopsis does not do it justice. You literally have to watch it. But Matt, when you watch this movie, because you've seen it a bunch, what are some highlights for you?
So this is going to sound really bad because there isn't like a single moment or point or anything that I'm like, fuck yeah, here it comes. Everybody strap up. It's just trying to think like, because Blazing Saddles has so many moments to me that are like, not necessarily iconic, but they're like so perfectly timed. The comedy is there, all that shit. I've also seen that movie like 10 times more than I've seen this one. And that's not like a slight against this movie.
I've never seen it.
Oh, and fair enough. I'm not going to fault you for it. Like there's a lot of movies I haven't seen that people are always like, oh, you haven't fucking seen that movie? No, bitch, there's fucking 57,000 movies. Like it's really hard to see them all.
Yeah.
But and I can't say for certain for you otherwise, but it was like I always kind of skirted that edge of like inappropriate humor. Like that's always appealed to me. And that's what Blazing Saddles is, on top of being like a really funny movie with, you know, racial racism undertones, however the fuck you want to explain it. But it's like, it's very much, it does what it's supposed to do. But I digress. So I had to. You can't be the only one who gets to say it. I think it's a lot of the littler stuff, like the, oh, you know, my name is, or it's pronounced Frankenstein and Igor, and like similar to, and I have watched it, you haven't, but The Mean One, and we will get to that when we watch that later this season, is how like the movie was not licensed to be able to use those words. Does that make sense? So like probably the best bit that I can kind of equate the whole, like where I'm going with this is in The Mean One. Every time they start to say his name, it's always in a bar. And the guy goes, yeah, they call him. And then as soon as you think he's going to say the Grinch, you just hear a bartender go, Fritch, Tom Fritch. So it's shit like that where it's like, and it's Newville, not Whoville. So it's like stuff where it's like, it skirts the line where you understand what it's trying to do. And it just, to me, makes it that much funnier. So I think as a whole, it's a lot of the little like the little details that point you in the right direction, but are far enough removed that they're not going to get fucking sued. That just makes a really great movie. And I genuinely like Mel Brooks. I always, you know, I like a lot of his movies.
Same.
Can't say I like them all, but
is he still alive?
I think he's super fucking old. 2 seconds.
He has to be in his 90s.
He's 97.
Damn.
Yeah, he was born June 28th, 1926. He is still alive.
God,
oh yeah, because they just did History of the World Part 2, which was the TV show on Hulu where he did a voiceover. Like it's supposed to be him, but it's like this ripped dude, and they're like, it's the whole fucking joke. But he's doing the voiceover. So yes, he is still alive. But like, we have a fucking dog named after a Mel Brooks character. Barf.
Oh my god,
Spaceballs.
You do.
Yeah.
Fuck
so
it. I'm so dumb. Yeah.
No, you're not dumb. You just look stupid. There's just like he's so like intertwined with comedy for the last fucking almost 50 years. This came out in 74. I'm sure there are others. Producers was 67, so more than 50 years.
Yeah.
He's kind of one of those things like I'll equate my life as a whole. There are 3 things I will always know. Metallica has always been a band. The Simpsons have always been on TV. Mel Brooks has always been making movies. So
Just
those
three
are
things.
those are three fucking big things. And Kiss will never not be a band after what the shit that they pulled with their last show. But you didn't hear about this?
No.
So they did their final show, which was on pay-per-view. It's
It's
also on my Plex if you'd like to watch it. My dad bought it, and I'm like, give me that fucking password. Let me rip that shit for you. So
let me see that password.
Oh, and I was just like, I'll just download it. I'll record it, and then you and your buddies can have it on DVD.
What do you mean they're going to continue as avatars?
Yeah, so similar to like, remember how they did, Tupac did a show as a hologram? Kiss is just going to be holographic avatars now, so they can continue to make fucking money. But my question is, who will they continue to write music, or are they just going to do fucking tours doing the same shit, the same music they've been doing forever?
I'm going to go with that one.
And I had heard that their kids were going to continue to write because they're like, oh, Kiss is more than just us now because it's only 2 remaining members. Peter Criss isn't in the band. Ace Frehley's not in the band.
Didn't Gene have a reality show for a long time?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck was the name of that show?
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. Finally, speaking
Family Jewels.
There it is.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm like, I know it, and I didn't want to have to Google it. It's Family Jewels of Gene Simmons.
Oddly enough, today, because my oldest daughter, is obsessed with Scooby-Doo, and on HBO Max, there's like 8,000 Scooby-Doo movies and shows. I was actually kind of blown away about how many fucking different iterations of Scooby-Doo there are. And she has specific ones that she likes. Today, she wanted to watch one. She's like, Mommy, I want to watch the one with the ghosts. I'm like, that's very broad. Scooby-Doo has a lot of fucking ghosts. She's like, no, this one. And it was literally Scooby-Doo and Kiss. It's literally a Scooby-Doo animation with fucking Kiss. And I'm literally like...
there's a Kiss horror movie, right?
Of course there is.
Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. It's awful.
They have literally found a way to make themselves in every avenue. The only thing I knew
for
about,
fucking sure.
The only thing I knew about Kiss was that, okay, so this is going to probably sound really obnoxious maybe to people who are fans. I don't know, because I'm about to shit on 2 fucking fan bases, and I'm sorry, not sorry. A band like Kiss, just seeing them, I expected them to sound a lot different than the songs that I've heard. I don't dislike the songs that I've heard, but I'm like, why are you spitting out blood and looking like a fucking demon, and you're talking about like loving me, baby, over and over again? Like, I was made for loving you, baby. Like, okay, I get it. I feel the same way about the Grateful Dead. A fucking awesome name. And I was like, oh, I'm going to love this band. This is such a cool name. I love the art. Whoever fucking Jerry Garcia is, I don't know. This is me like 10, 15 years ago. I start listening to the music. I'm like, this is garbage. I cannot stand the Grateful Dead. I respect if people do, and deadheads that follow them around. I know a couple. It's just like, it doesn't match. Duck, duck, goose.
So Kiss, the live show, and I hate that I know this, but the live show became what it was because no one was buying their albums because the music is fucking super mediocre. They didn't get super popular or very famous, and someone please tell me I'm wrong, but my understanding is that no one knew who they were until they put out Kiss Alive. It was when they put out the live video or the live recording is when people started to take note because of the fire and all the weird shit. I'm combing through their fucking tour dates because I saw them and I thought it was 97, but it may have actually been 96.
Oh, like you actually
August
saw
10th,
them in
1996,
concert?
I saw them.
Oh, nice.
Multiple times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my dad took me August 10th, 1996. I was in 5th grade. He has the VHS bootleg tape of it, which I should really get from him. But I mean, he's a huge Kiss fan. Right? The Kiss pinball machine was his. He has Kiss busts. It was like one of 600. He has one of 4 of them. They're all signed by him. He has the fucking comic book with their blood in the ink. Like he worked at a fucking record store before I was. But it's like I've taken friends like my buddy Brad from Minneapolis that does all the drown artwork and stuff. We were in Sheboygan for something and we stopped at my parents and he like was in fucking awe of the stuff my dad has. Like, sorry, I'm kind of snotty. My dad has a Roy Orbison concert flyer signed to my mom from when my dad worked at the record store. He has like fucking Pink Floyd at County Stadium, which was the old Brewers. Like he has the original flyer in his basement. Like he has some really fucking cool shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is where I get my that's where I get my collecting from. Yeah, so I saw Kiss August 10th, 1996. I was 11 years old. No, 10. I would have turned 11 in September. And like I can still, that's one of the first memories, but that was like,
you didn't have any memories prior to fifth grade.
What's that?
It's all, you don't have any memories prior to fifth grade. You're like, it's just blank. And then Kiss.
I have one. The only other memory I have is in fourth grade, the day of my first drum lesson.
Oh, okay. That's actually
like that I can vividly remember the day it was and like looking around in that shit. But like that's about it. I had the shirt for a really long time and then I got fat. So that didn't fit anymore. It was probably like a size large or medium or whatever, like whatever you wear when you're fucking 10 years old. But yeah, and to this day, I always remember the opening band was Degeneration, which is listed on the Wikipedia. Their music's probably trash.
Probably.
But yeah, I really should ask my dad why he wanted to take me, because he took me and my brother. I got a pigeon shit on my head walking into the Bradley Center, which is now Fiserv Forum. Yeah, it's just I have the fucking weirdest recollection of that. And then Alyssa and I saw them in 2010 at Rock USA, which is now a defunct music festival in Oshkosh. So like, and then we were gonna go see him again, but it was like, and seeing this pay-per-view, it was bad. Like Gene Simmons looks like he's like sweating bullets and he's not doing shit. Like, not saying that the lights and the makeup and all that shit, but it's like, you're sweating way more than you really should, sir.
I did see some like snippets from like the final show, and he was very, very stiff. Not that I have like any type of authority or know much about them. All I know is that they fucking wear obnoxious costumes, have platform shoes, and he spits blood. But like that's about all I know. And he was just very like clunky, just big clunky. But yeah, I don't know why we got on the topic of Kiss, but here we are. I forget.
Merchandising? Which is a fucking Mel Brooks line from Spaceballs. Merchandising.
Oh, that's what you said. You know 3 things. Kiss have always been a band. Mel Brooks has always been making movies, and then I found the path.
I'm okay with these fucking little side shoot rabbit holes.
That is the point of the show. You get so much.
It is
more.
that's also how my brain works.
Well, yeah, that's called ADHD.
Squirrel?
Shiny?
Huh?
So yeah, I mean, Young Frankenstein, to just get back to that, because we are talking about Young Frankenstein. This is not a episode about Kiss, because I can name one member of that band. But yeah, again, like
Steve Geratos.
Nope. I almost said Gene Wilder because I'm fucking talking about Young Frankenstein. Gene Simmons.
Did I tell you about Ace Frehley being at Days of the Dead?
You did not.
Yeah, apparently, like, he fucking had people opening his pens for him and opening bottles of water, and like, he was a fucking D. It was $75 for a picture, $100 if there were 2 people in the picture, $125 if it was a family, and then it was like $150 an autograph because the guy I was with had Kiss Meets the Phantom on VHS that he wanted to get signed, so he stood in that fucking line. And I remember going back and forth, like, doing stuff, getting beer and shit, and he would move, like, every time, it was every 15 minutes, he would go up like 2 people.
Jesus Christ. So I almost got you a Christmas gift. I found out that your best friend, Gail Lewis, does cameos. Guess how much that bitch
Gail
charges?
Lewis, store 844, Morris, Illinois. Signing out.
I was so excited. I was like, I have to do this. Guess how much that fucking bitch charges for a 25-second video?
Fuck. So here's the problem: is it's too much. If it's more than $50, I'm gonna be outraged.
Oh, then get outraged.
Oh my god, Gail Lewis.
Because if it was $50, I would have done it.
So here's the thing, and
because I knew it would have fucking cracked you up and made your day, but this was so astronomical. I was like, who the fuck? And I always saw she only had 5 reviews, and I know that does not equate to how many she has.
She's
done.
19 now. You can mess $100.
She upped it then. It was 85 2 days ago.
So
she upped it.
You can message her for $3, but also the thing is
I don't know.
So to end up on Cameo, and I know this from when I talked to Matt Vincent more, but it was like to end up on Cameo, people have to request you. So enough people requested her that they reached out to her, to which her response was, okay, if you want to give me $100, I'll fucking give you a fucking sub-minute video. Good for her, because she's a flash in the pan. This will only last for a certain amount of time. But I agree.
Get that bread.
Here's what you got to do is just keep an eye on it, and I will probably do the same, because Survivor's coming to a close, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to win this season. So I might.
Nice.
$100 is a bit much. But what I did the last time, I think I told you, is the winner, I just paid for them to do a cameo to tell everyone that they fucking suck and I'm better than they are. Like, all I did with the money I won was give it to the person that won a ton of money on TV to tell my friends that I'm better than they are.
You know what? That seems pretty on the nose, though.
Right. So if Gail Lewis comes down, I don't think they'll get the joke, but it would make me laugh. But anyways, yeah, if people are going to pay her $100 to do this shit, like...
I totally
Good for
respect
you,
the
I guess.
hustle, but I was like, I fucking can't.
Have you ever looked at, there's like the average length of video and like the average response time and shit?
Mm-mm. I'm not really privy on like proficient with Cameo. Like that was probably like one of two that I've ever looked up, and I'm like, oh, cool.
So generally she will do it in about 24 hours, which is pretty good, because I've had like I got drunk once and bought Matt. It was the dude from Fast and Furious 1.
Oh, I remember that.
And it was
he
complete
say
fucking turd.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't say hate, and he didn't like the band Every Time I Die. So doing some math. So the average video of a Gail Lewis, or the average length of a Gail Lewis cameo is 30 seconds. So if she were to make an hourly wage,
I'm gonna get nauseated.
$360,000 an hour. She's paying $100 for a 30-second average length video.
What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong?
You didn't put on fucking TikTok you quitting Walmart?
My God, I'm just gonna go into a Walmart and do that. This is Erica Snyder signing off. 844.
Erica Snyder. 1247. Pennsylvania. Signing out.
There's been good times and bad times, but we got through them all.
We went through a goddamn pandemic together.
The world is such a fascinating place to me, because it's like, why are those things like, why? Because I've seen fucking 50 of those types of videos of people being like end of watch videos. It's usually a fucking cop who's been like 25 years of service signing out, and it's emotional, like whatever, if like that's your thing. It's like when I get sad, I watch, soldiers surprising their family videos or like fucking shit like that. But like,
that's a weird one.
Woman, I'm not the fucking only one. People chime in.
Oh God, no.
They're
God, no.
all over.
I'm not saying you are.
But I'm just saying this woman was a nobody. Like, and I don't mean that in like, I'm a nobody. Like, nobody knows who I am. But
100%.
Because people just found it, I mean, probably not with like a positive, they're just like, look at this fucking goofball, we're going to make a mockery of her. And look what she's fucking doing now. She's laughing in all of those fuckers' faces. She's like, I just made your fucking house payment in a fucking 15 minutes, bitch.
I know. And I know I have sent you a ton of these.
Oh my
but
God,
like
so
people
many.
Going to you love me. But it was like people going to that Walmart and asking about her and shit. And like, apparently she's now a nurse, whatever. Good for her. We're now talking about her and we're number one in fucking
Turkey.
I don't think that signing out audibly from a Walmart is something that they do. Okay. So no. kind of to your point though, when a police officer signs out for the evening, they radio signing out. Yeah. That's a normal thing.
Yeah.
So when they do it for the last time, it is a far more emotional thing than Gail fucking Lewis, who's just not going to stock tomorrow night at store 844 in Morris, Illinois. So to like do what she did is fucking absolutely asinine.
Oh yeah.
But it has made some of the best internet content for my dumbass. Like the fucking Gail Lewis Prime tackling people and shit for stealing PS5s. Like,
yeah,
it's so fucking out there. And like, that's what the internet's for. That and
100%.
And sex videos.
Yeah. Well,
you were going to say 100%. I'm right.
No, 1,000%. I'm not even going to go low into the hundreds. 1,000%. That is what the internet's for. The internet.
Yeah.
Its sole purpose is to entertain me. to satisfy me. No, I'm kidding. But like, it's just, I just don't understand how far we've come from as a
So since
society.
we've gone straight Gail Lewis deep dive at this point and jumped the shark on Young Frankenstein, so
That's okay.
I listened to approximately 4 seconds of one cameo video that is on her page, and I quickly realized that she has basically come to the fact that people only give a shit about the fact that she's going to say, Gail Lewis, store 844, Morris, Illinois. $100, wish me a happy birthday, say these 3 things, dance monkey. Like,
Oh yeah.
that has to be fucking soul crushing.
But is it though when she's putting a fucking down payment on her dream house in 2 weeks?
And what happens when she cannot afford that house because the fucking cameo money dries up?
Well, she has the money from nursing. So, and she has no fucking mortgage. I'm just saying, it's like, we can mock it as much as we want, but literally, I would fucking do it. We would all do it. I don't know many people that would be like, no, I'm too good for that. No, you want to pay me $100 for me to be like, happy birthday, Erica Snyder, 1273, signing out, fucker. And like that, I will do it with a smile on my face. My soul will be gleaming with joy.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hit it!
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Different types who wear a day coat, pants with stripes, or cutaway coat, perfect fits. Dressed up like $1 million trooper, trying mighty hard to look like Gary Cooper. Come, let's mix where Rockefellers walk with sticks or umbrellas in their midst.
So, some fun fact trivia monster minutia for you. When Mel Brooks was preparing for this film, he discovered that Ken Strickfaden, who'd made the elaborate electrical machinery for the lab sequences in the Universal Frankenstein films, was still alive and living in LA. Brooks visited him and found that he stored all the equipment in his garage. Brooks made a deal to rent the equipment and gave Ken the screen credit he didn't receive for the original films. So all the lab equipment that you see in the film for Young Frankenstein was in the original Frankenstein, which I always thought was a super cool fun fact about this movie.
That's actually a really cool one.
I do really like that. Cloris Leachman improvised the dialogue with, in which Frau Blücher offers warm milk and Ovaltine to Dr. Frankenstein, which makes me love Cloris so much. She was a fucking pioneer and a goddamn genius. When Gene Wilder leans in to kiss Madeline Kahn goodnight in her bedroom, her last second quip, no tongues, was ad-libbed by Kahn. The shifting hump on Igor's back was an ad-lib gag. So Marty Feldman kept shifting the hump back and forth for several days when cast members finally noticed, and it was then added to the script. Gene Hackman ad-libbed the blind man's parting line, I was going to make espresso. The scene immediately fades to black because the crew erupted into fits of laughter. Hackman was unable to repeat the line without laughing with the rest of the crew, so the first take was used. Hackman was uncredited when the movie was originally released in theaters. Gene Wilder has stated that this is his favorite of all the films he has made, and it should be. I mean, the man was fucking Willy Wonka, and he was just like, no, Young Frankenstein is my number one.
So it's funny, like when you're doing all your little minutiae here, and it's all little things that I found funny but didn't really stand out. And it's when you kind of rehash them with the little tidbits behind them, they're like, "Fuck, dude, that actually is way funnier than it really deserves to be." Because like I was gonna make espresso, like no one ever probably really thinks twice about it. It's like that's a weird thing to say, and then when you hear that, it's like, "Fuck, okay, I got it."
Exactly, especially given the setting of like what they're filming and what it's supposed to be. It's really good. Fun fact about me, like every once in a while, like a celebrity or just a famous person, nobody that I've ever met in my life or would ever meet, will pass away and it'll just like strike me really hard. When Gene Wilder died, I like legit was sad and like cried. That really bummed me out.
I don't want to word this in like sound insensitive, but I never understood people who are so emotionally or directly affected by the passing of someone that they've never met.
I wasn't until like I literally saw this like montage of clips of him and they literally put him like the track of him singing that Imagination song from Willy Wonka, and I'm just like fucking like oh fuck, like my childhood dead.
And that's the thing is like I understand it's kind of a cold-hearted stance to just be like, well, I never met this person, and it's not that I don't care. Like the most influential person in my life that has passed away was Sid Haig, and it wasn't like a big deal. Like I just really, really liked Captain Spaulding.
Yeah.
And I really liked a lot of the movies that he was in. But still, when you see something like that, or like, you know, I still follow Bill Moseley and I've met him a handful of times. And it's like when you see the shit that they post and it's like you see how they're affected by it, like that means a little more. Now, when say, like we had talked about, like Metallica is my favorite band.
Yeah.
100%. When one of them dies, how will that affect me? Now, will it affect me because like, oh, I'm never going to see him again? Or it's like, that is one, like I mentioned, that's one constant in my life that no longer exists. Is that harder to fathom than the fact that that person has passed away? It's just, it's a weird thing and you know, whatever.
No, I don't need to make fun of you for that.
Not you, the fucking internet.
Oh.
Ravioli being weird about bands.
No, I don't think that's, I mean, personally, and I think my opinion is the only one that really matters in this relationship. I don't think that's weird at all.
Shocking.
I mean, like, I don't know why, but like every once in a while, like someone will pass away. Like I was bummed out when Matthew Perry died, but I wasn't like fucking bawling my eyes out. Like R.I.P. Chandler.
Did you see the cause of his death came out?
Fucking OD.
Fucking on the moon with ketamine. But, and I kind of wanted to jump in because I kind of want to like sidebar. My statement is, I think when it's something that you can then correlate to something you've dealt with is what makes it difficult.
Yeah.
So like I see people post things about losing dogs or something like that. And it's like, I've never met that person's dog, but I know what it's like to go through that. So I think it's when you can kind of stitch the pieces to your own personal life. And that's when it gets the hardest. So yes, Gene Wilder, seeing all this stuff and like correlating, and you're probably thinking back to when you saw that or when you heard that song and what was going on and how you felt. And that's probably what makes you more emotional than anything else.
100%, because like I am very much, and I think I've said this on the show before, like I'm a person that very much loves to live in the fantasy world. So like things like Willy Wonka or like books or like, you know, it's not a secret, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan and I love Lord of the Rings and like fantasy and all that other stuff. I love escapism. Like I love, that's why we have a podcast about fucking movies that would never happen. I mean, some of them could happen, like Hello the Stranger and shit like that. But like, you know, Young Frankenstein is not a thing that's going to ever happen. But it's just like, I think that's why like when like musicians, like, because music and just media in some form or another is such like an escape for me. When like I get attached to like a certain movie or a character and like that person passes away, I'm just like, bum city. Anyways, the cast, especially Mel Brooks, had so much fun and were so upset when principal photography was almost completed that Mel added scenes to continue shooting, which is something you love to hear. That like I feel like the business of movies anymore is just like not rigorous. Like I'm sure people still have fun on movie sets and stuff like that, but it's such a business now that it's like the joy has been sucked out of it quite a bit. And to see that all these people got along so well, all of these people were having such a great time. They're like, fucking add more to the story so we can just stay here for longer. I love that. Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks got into only one fight during the movie's production, but it was a big one, with Mel throwing a huge temper tantrum, yelling and raging, and eventually storming out of Gene's apartment where the men had been working on the script. Roughly 10 minutes later, Gene's phone rang. The caller was Mel, who had this to say. "Who is that madman you had in your house? I could hear the yelling all the way over here. You should never let crazy people into your house. They could be dangerous." That, as Gene later put it, was Mel's way of apologizing. Gene Wilder would only make the film if Mel Brooks promised not to appear in it. Brooks usually appeared in his own films, but Wilder felt that Brooks' appearance would ruin the illusion. Brooks made off-camera appearances as the Howling Wolf, Frederick's grandfather, and the Shrieking Cat. Supposedly the scene which required the most takes to be filmed was the one which Igor bites Elizabeth's animal wrap. The reason was that each time he did it, he was left with a piece of fur in his mouth, which caused the other actors to laugh hysterically. Now, this is the only note I personally wrote for this film, and I urge any listener to do this as well. Go on YouTube, Google Young Frankenstein bloopers. This movie has some of the best bloopers ever. And this scene in particular, where Marty Feldman is biting Madeline Kahn's fox that she has around her neck, it's fucking great. It's so good. Ooh, I really loved this fact. In 1974, Aerosmith took a break from a long night of recording to see this film. Steven Tyler wrote the band's hit Walk This Way the morning after seeing the movie, inspired by Marty Feldman's first scene, the Walk This Way scene. That's where that fucking song came from.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I did not know that until I wrote the notes earlier this morning. I think that, okay. The last fact I'm going to say for this, which was another one that I really liked that I did not know until this morning. Clement von Frankenstein, who has an uncredited role as a villager, was a descendant of the noble house of Frankenstein, the namesake for the titular character in Mary Shelley's original novel. So an actual Frankenstein, she changed some of the spelling, was actually in this movie. It's pretty wild. But there's your minutiaes.
I never realized, Clement von Frankenstein. Villager screaming at monster. I never realized that was an actual name, but it makes sense. I mean,
she had a fucking hardcore name. Mary Shelley's name, like her middle name was like Wolfenschnatter or something. Like it was like something. It's like Wolfencraft, I think, actually.
Wollstonecraft.
Yeah,
WOLL Stonecraft.
It's a fucking hardcore name. It's like Finn Wolfhard. Like that's a name. Nobody shakes in fear when they're like Eric Snyder, but fucking I'm Wolfenstadtercraft. Like fucking what? All right. Who are your fucking ancestors?
Stanley Wolfhard.
Is that what you're naming your dick? What?
It is. I actually named it the Hammer of Dawn.
So for this movie, I'm gonna give it a yay.
It's not actually named the Hammer of Dawn. I'd obviously give this one a yay as well. I mean,
what the fuck is Thor's hammer's name? Like mole hair? I can't. The spelling is like MJN like something. It's like mole hair.
I'm trying to find a fucking
translate like a pronunciation
of it, but yeah, it's MJOLLNIR.
There it is.
Mjolnir.
There it is.
Yep.
Mjolnir.
Yep. Sorry, I had to wait for some dickhead to go, hey, Thor's hammer has a name, and you're probably wondering how we're going to say it. But before we're going to say it, we're going to explain to you about how on December 24th, my entire family got together. We knit 47 scarves, 12 sweaters. We all sat down. We watched A Christmas Story next to the fire. And then on top of that, we had a nice pretzel bake dip.
It's like a Pinterest
17
recipe.
kinds of artichokes from around. Exactly. And then he was finding like, it's pronounced Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. And then he probably repeated it even slower. Mjolnir.
I stopped.
Oh, yeah. The movie's a yay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This movie's an all day yay.
All day yay. That's
all day.
That's like a 5-star yay right there. All day yay. Not an all day slay. But yes, please watch it. It's so good if you haven't already. If you're listening to this just raw dogging life and not just watching the movies. I actually do know I have a friend who literally does not watch a single fucking movie we review because she doesn't like scary movies, but she listens to every episode. So I'm just like, I appreciate you.
Friend of the show, Seth. Same.
Oh yeah.
Does not like horror movies, but yeah, he listens to every episode and we appreciate it.
Yeah, do I sound like my cousin now, Seth? Nope.
That was the greatest fucking text message I've gotten in a while. Yeah. And I think my response was, put me in a dark room. I wouldn't know who's who. Just cheesesteaks falling out of your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh, I could go for a cheesesteak. Maybe I'll do that.
Me too, but that's because I've been drinking. So for what it's worth, it's not the next movie, but the following movie. And I can say the name if you'd like me to, but I have never seen this.
What movie?
Evil Dead 2.
You've never seen Evil Dead 2?
I've seen 1, 3, fucking the whole TV show.
Why
never
haven't you seen
2.
Evil Dead 2?
I don't know.
Weird.
Sure, I've seen bits and pieces. Never seen it in its entirety. So I'm very excited. Well, and then it became when we made this list. when you made this list. I'm not going to say you did all the work, but when I saw it was on there, then I purposefully did not watch it.
Yeah.
Because I knew I'd have to watch for this.
There's a lot.
And I was going to say, I was going through the list and I'm like, I feel like there's others that I wanted to see, but I didn't. But I have seen a fucking lot of these.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is your season, so I would hope so. Try to make you happy after making you watch Twilight.
You know what? The only thing that would make me happy at this point is if you stop sending me Twilight fucking Instagram reels.
I will never stop.
I know. There's
Jackie
a fucking.
gives me shit too.
It's
Jackie
not for
gives
you.
Me shit. Jackie gives me shit too because I sent them to her. She's like, "Will you fucking stop?" I'm like, "I will." The more you want me to stop, the more I'll say.
And I understand that. Trust me, I understand that. That's why I just don't react to them.
Oh, I know. I notice.
Much.
Don't you?
It's
I
much like
fucking notice.
You and the Gail Lewis shit.
Yeah. My plan
It
is.
stops.
My plan is when I come to visit you, I'm gonna have a printout of like fucking little fucking Edwards and fucking characters. I'm just gonna hide them all over your fucking house, all over.
The problem is Alyssa would probably help you.
Oh, I know. That's what makes me really happy.
Had I ever told you? So we did a wrestling show at a high school last May, and the school made like trading cards for Dylan and had him like standing all like it was like him in a library reading a book and shit. And I took one of everyone. And the next time I went to practice with Ken, I just hid them all over his apartment and in his car. And for like the next fucking month, it would just every couple of days be like, God damn it, here's another one. It was the best time I've ever had in my entire life. And I think one day he goes, I think I found the last one. And I said, well, where was it? He goes, inside of all of my toothpicks. I think you got the last one.
Nice. Jackie goes to, and she's going to hear this, but she'll forget by the time that she goes. Jackie's going.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. She's going on a trip next or this year. It's this year, yeah. She's going on a trip and she's going to the Grand Canyon. When she goes to the Grand Canyon, my plan is, because I'm fairly certain that like her mom will like check in on her house and stuff like that or whatever. I plan on putting about 400 tiny little ducks and pigs all throughout her house. Everywhere. Have you ever seen those reels? I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm excited.
I have not seen them, but
when I find one, I'll send it to you. It's amazing.
I ain't got nobody, and nobody cares for me.
Igor, Frederick, how did you get here?
Through the dumbwaiter. I heard the strangest music from the upstairs kitchen, and I just followed it down. Call it a hunch.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for Young Frankenstein. This is a lot longer than I thought it was gonna be. Please watch it. It's so fucking good. Next time on Monster Madness, we're gonna be covering a movie called Saturday the 14th, which me and Matt are both really excited about. It's like a parody, obviously, of Friday the 13th. So yeah, it should be good. It looks terrible, but hopefully terrible in a really good way. As always, thank you for listening. Check out the show notes, all that jazz. Reach out. We love to hear from you. You guys are the best. I love this show.
Smoke, crack, and worship Satan.
Bye.
Now, that brain that you gave me, was it Hans Delbrooks? No. Good. Would you mind telling me whose brain I did put in?
And you won't be angry?
I will not be angry.
Abby someone.
Abby someone. Abby who?
Abby normal.
Abby Normal.
I'm almost sure that was the name.
Are you saying that I put an abnormal brain into a 7.5-foot long, 54-inch wide gorilla? Is that what you're telling me? Wait.
Let me out. Let me out of here. Get me the hell out of here.
What's the matter with you people? I was joking! Don't you know a joke when you hear one? Jesus Christ, get me out of here! Open this goddamn door, I'll kick your rotten heads in! Mommy! Nine!